It's not entirely true that if he wants to see you, he will make it happen. Sometimes you could be in a situation where he may want to make it happen, but he may not necessarily know where you stand as far as interest. So there's situations where a guy may, yes, he may want to see you and all that, but on the other hand, he may be worried that you're not necessarily feeling the same way about him. And so as a result, he'll hold back, almost as though he's just hoping that you give him enough to make him feel like he can take that next step and make it happen, whether it's to take you out on a date or get into a relationship with you or take whatever romantic interaction that he's having with you to the next level. So it's important that you don't get too carried away with the angle of if he wants to see you, he'll make it happen, and latching onto that, because oftentimes the mistake that you can make when you do that is make yourself believe that you don't really have to do much, so you can almost be kind of lackadaisical in how you go about interacting with him, hoping that he can read your mind, hoping that he can tell that you do truly like him in a romantic sense. It's important that you don't fall into that trap. So you could be in scenarios like this are very common where a guy may want to see you, he may want to make it happen, but if he's not feeling like you're actually into him the way he's into you, he may hold back. And the danger with that is he could get to the point where he just makes himself believe that you're not really into him anyway, and there's no point to continue on. And he may just go ahead and start talking to someone else or just lose interest. Now, something else you also need to be aware of in a scenario like this is sometimes you may be dealing with a guy who may not have always had the best relationships in the past. So he may have had, perhaps his previous relationship may not have been that particularly good. Perhaps he was hurt in that relationship or he felt betrayed in that relationship. And now that he has started talking to you in some capacity, he may be really cautious about how he goes about moving this thing forward. There might be a part of him that is almost just thinking, you know what, I didn't have a particularly good experience with my last relationship or with the last person I was romantically interested in. So I'm just really going to take my time with you and just see where things go. Now the danger of this is you could get this guy to a point where he starts looking at you more as a friend. See, that's the danger is when he is in the mindset of initially, yes, being romantically interested in you and what have you, and interacting with you with that knowledge. But then as time goes on, because he's not looking to move things forward based on how his previous experience in his previous relationship or what have you has been, he may not be willing to take that next step. So even though he does want to see you and make things happen, to some extent, he may just feel like, you know what, she seems okay with how things are going right now because she seems she just seems game for whatever we talk about. So I'm just gonna chill. Even though I know I like her, I've been betrayed in the past or I've been hurt in the past, it still feels bad, and I'm pretty good with where I'm at now. Again, the danger of this is if he's not feeling that you're necessarily trying to move the relationship, or you're so available to him that he just gets so comfortable, it could get to the point where the both of you just end up just being friends. See, that's the danger here, because if you don't act at the right moment, if either one of you don't act at the right moment while there is still romantic interest there, then what often happens is one of, or the both of you, at least one of you, will ultimately get to the point where it just becomes, oh, I just see this person as a friend now. So that's the danger of waiting out too long. So it's important that you really let your interest be shown, and just let that out and see how he responds to that. Because the last thing you want to do is spend all this time with this guy hoping that romance will ensue and nothing happens.